Hey, so I wanted to give you some quick tips on carving ornaments into instruments. And in this case, it's a Baroque viola fingerboard. And as you can see, I've drawn the design on tracing paper. And there's a reason for this. It allows you to see through the grain and sort of see the wood itself as opposed to gluing an actual piece of paper where you cannot see the grain. So the transparent tracing paper works really well for that. And basically, it serves another purpose that these tiny, tiny corners you want to preserve. So the paper and the hide glue that you use to attach it actually protect these corners from chipping off. So that's the first tip. It's just a tip and a trick. Another tip is to use a double beveled knife and make sure it's very, very sharp. So it will zoom in and you can see another tech. I'll give you another tip. So this is basically the same as when you're doing your purfling by hand. You're just doing very slow cuts and taking your time. Now this is mahogany, so the grain direction can be kind of crazy. So you see I have my point here at the top. I come in, make a nice clean cut, and I go all the way down to this point down here, but I don't approach it with the knife. I start here, go close to it, but not near that corner because I don't have any accuracy going this way. And then flip it, right? And then do this corner here. You see? And again, mahogany is, this is kind of a crazy mahogany, you know, but it's going to look really beautiful with the reddish varnish. And I think it's really going to complement the instrument, you know. Of course, it'd be faster just to do a wedge, a normal fingerboard, you know, but this is going to, once it's sealed and polished, it's just going to look amazing. So it's just a little extra thing of beauty. And ornaments were not really so common in violin family instruments. You see English and German makers doing it, but the Italians didn't tend to ornament their violin family instruments, and as well made some very plain Jane viola da gambas with no ornaments at all. But for me, it just adds like a personal touch, you know. And I've done some crazy stuff, you know. I always try to do something different or even invent the ornament myself as opposed to copying or, you know. Right, so what is the rule when you're doing any kind of purfling channel? Otto Mocco says, one frees only what is ready to be free. And you will see the, this is not ready yet. You'll see the kind of like, oops, I cut too deep in there. I mean, I cut too wide. Yeah, you really shouldn't be talking when you do this. Right, one frees only what is ready to be free. So you'll see that the wood will kind of wag, you know, it's like ready to go. And when you see that happening, then you take your this tool, which is difficult to sharpen. And then you just free, it's ready to be free. So be free, yeah? And it just sort of. So then the other tip is soap is your friend. That's what I tell my apprentices. Soap is your friend. If I can find the soap. Where is it? Here it is. You can take some soap and you can see this thing's been scarred. And you can also just put some on your knife like this. And it will slide much easier. It won't bind in the channel. So soap is your friend. You can also just put soap on there, you know, put soap in there, but it can kind of obscure, too much soap can kind of obscure what you're cutting. So, yeah, that's the tip. Use the transparent paper, and you can trace it. You could trace an existing ornamental design, or what I like to do is just invent my own. This was taken from somewhere, and I did the drawing so long ago that I cannot remember where it came from. So anyway, that's it. Those are the few little tips and tricks for doing ornaments, and there are many more. There are different types of inlay and whatnot. What I will end up doing with this is just using normal violin purfling strips to come in here, you know, right? So, and that looks really amazing. And another tip, obviously, which you probably know if you're doing purfling or if you watched a purfling video, is you can mark the top of it with chalk, like this, so it's white, and that gives you an indication of where your top is always, because when you're gluing these little pieces in, it can get confusing, you know, like, oh, what does this go here or this goes here? Yeah, so you mark the top with chalk, and then you can use your knife to scrape the underside, you know. So you're basically you're cutting a perfect channel, and then you're fitting this in. So those are your tips on ornaments.